Hi there everyone, it's Mindy from My Creative Scoop and I'm back with another Copic marker tutorial for Neat and Tangled. This month I'm using this adorable brand new stamp set called Heartfelt Thanks, and I'm going to show you how to color this entire image from start to finish. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to color is the large sunflower in the center, and I'm going to be using a different color combo. I'm not going to be using the traditional starting dark to light. We're going to go ahead and create a different shade. So I'm going to start by doing the center here, which is going to be very simple. We're just going to be using E43, E42, and E41. And right at the center, I'm going to go ahead and just fill it in. And then I'm going to come out just a little bit more, and then right where all these little designs are, I'm just going to give a little flick going out just to kind of pull out some of that darker color. And then I'm going to go ahead and come right around the edge. And I'm not going to go around the whole circle in the center, just about half. And then I'm going to take my E42 and just flick some of that E43 out so we can get a little bit of a better blend. And then I'm going to continue outlining that circle. And then I'm going to get a little thicker down here. And then again, continue outlining that little circle. So I just have a little bit of an opening there where I don't have any color. And now I'm going to take my E41 and we're just going to fill in the gap between the two, the outer part and the inner part, and as well as closing up all of that up here. So the entire center of the flower is now colored. So now what we're going to do is use R22 and we're going to color in the entire flower petal because I want to have a red undertone. So let's go ahead and do that on a couple of them. Whenever I'm coloring something that has a lot of repetitiveness, just like how we have these petals here, I like to do a few at a time, just so it's not so much of the back and forth, back and forth. I do recommend, if you are following this tutorial, to go ahead and color one fully, just so you know the routine. You know which color goes next. That way you can work and quickly know what you're doing, which colors you're using, so that way you're blending the ink while it's still wet. Okay, so we have some petals colored, and now I'm going to take my E99 and I'm going to start down here at the bottom, and I'm just going to flick going up the sides of each of the petals. This one that's back here, it's going to have a shadow on each side to make it look like these petals are in the front. And as you can see, there's no little lines on this one here, but I'm just going to add some of my own. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take E97, and I'm going to flick going out, and it almost blends nicely into that R22. It's just a little bit of a heavy flick. And then I'm going to take my R24 and go up the center just a little bit. So we're just adding a little bit more of this red tone to it. And then we're going to repeat that E97. This time it's going to drag out some of that R24, pulling some of that red through a little bit more. And now let's go ahead and go back with E99. And again with the R22. Notice I'm really saturated right down in here, so I'm avoiding to go into that area, just pulling out some of that color right from the tip of where we just laid down that E99. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and repeat that whole process again. So starting back with the R22. All right, and then we're going to repeat that whole series again. So back with the E99. We'll color in that little bit of that shadow in the back ones, the little petals that are in the back. And then come out to the front. And if you don't have these colors, you can easily just take a regular coordinating set. You know, if you just have the R20s, you can go ahead and use, 27, 24, 22 and get that same dark to light contrast. You don't have to use the exact color combinations that I'm using. But this is a fun thing to do just to kind of learn how to mix the different colors together. So now I'm going to take my E97. And then my R24. And then the E97 again. And then my R22. And let's go ahead and take the E99 just to give it a little bit more definition down here at the bottom. Alright, so now the remaining petals, we'll go ahead and take the R22 again. Notice I'm trying to kind of quickly put down this first coat. I don't want to sit here and go over it too many times and really saturate that paper. So just a quick one coat. And now we'll go ahead and take that E99. And then the E97. And then the R24. Oh, I forgot the back ones. And then we're going to go ahead and take that E97. And then the R22. And then we're going to go back with the E99. And I'm going to go back with my R22 just because I could see this pulling away a little bit up here. So I'm just going to go back and add a couple little flicks right at the tips of the petals. Alright, so now let's go ahead and color all these little flowers here. We're going to be using the same colors that we used for the center of the flower, so we're going to get out the E43. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the shadows onto all of the flowers. Since this is a lighter color and we're not adding too much definition, I can go ahead and just quickly add the shadow. So that's the inside of the flower, the bottoms of the petals, and then on the inside coming out and along the each of the sides. Same thing here, the center and at the bottoms of the petals. And here, right behind this flower, coming out along the sides, and then the center. And then on the sides of the petals. And then we're going to take the E42 and I'm just going to flick going right along the side. I'm not filling in the flower though, I'm just kind of going back and forth, just kind of messy. Just blurring out, blending out the harsh line in between the E43 and the E42. So I'm just giving it a little squiggle here and there. And then we're going to take that E41 and fill in the rest of the flower. All right. And I completely just missed this little flower right over here, so I'm going to go back with my E43. Go along the inside of the flower and along the bottoms of the petals. And then again with my E42. And with the E41. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead, we're going to start by making these leaves. I haven't decided yet whether or not I want to add some green or not. So we're going to start with the YR15 and YR20, so YR20. And we're going to make these flowers that are, or I'm sorry, these leaves right behind the sunflower, this orangey yellow color. So we're going to start with the YR15 and we're going to come up the center and then we're going to go ahead and flick going out, tracing some of those lines. Same thing over here and the same thing down here. Now we're going to take the R20 and we're going to fill in the rest of the leaves. Now since this color isn't right next to the R15, it's kind of a shade off, you want to go back over it a couple of times so you get a nice blend between the two colors. The YR15 is much darker, so you will still be able to see the dark to light contrast. But we just want to soften up the edge of it a little bit. And I think I am going to add some green with the smaller little leaves back here. So first we want to add a little bit more definition to these orange flower, or the orange leaves. So I'm going to take my E33. And just give a little trace. And then adding that shadow that's right on the base of, right behind the flower. Do the bottom ones real quick. So again, trace and then give a shadow and then trace going back up a couple of these. You don't have to do every single one. And then we're going to go back with YR15. I'm going to trace over the brown. And you know what? I'm going to change up my original plan a little bit. Let's go ahead and take the R20 really fast and finish blending this out. So now right along the edge of the leaf here where it's the lightest, we're going to take the YG61 and I'm just going to add a little bit of green going back into the orange color. So it's just the very tips of it. It'll make it seem like the leaf is just changing colors. So it's going to add a little bit more color and look like fall. Very, very pretty. Okay, like the way that looks. So now we're going to go ahead and I just noticed I forgot to color this in, so I'm going to take my E41 and fill that in. Okay, so now all of these little leaves coming out from the from these little flowers, we're going to go ahead and color those in green. So we're going to take the YG67, YG63, and YG61. I'm going to start with my YG67, and right coming out from where the flowers are, where the leaves are tucked in away, we're going to add a little bit of a shadow. So you're going to trace down the center and then right along the flower where it's coming out from. Same thing down here. I think these are little leaves there and I colored them in. All right. Now let's take that YG67, come out a little bit more. You want to leave some room for the YG61. And now we're going to fill in the rest of the leaves. Now let's go ahead and take that E33 and we're going to add a little bit more of a shadow, and this is going to kind of dull them out a little bit more just so it's not so spring-like and give it a little bit more of a warm tone to it for fall. All right. I'm going to take my E41, fill that in. All right, so now we are ready to put our card together. Okay, so here is my finished card, and I did like a faux masking. So after I colored the image, I die cut it out, and then I also die cut an image. I die cut a piece of foam in the shape of the flower, and that way I could glue this down to the foam and give it that height. Well, after I had die cut the flower out, I went ahead and stamped the entire background over and over, just in different areas, so there was no more white showing, and just black and white. So that way I have all of these flowers behind. It looks like this flower here is in front of, so you know, technically it's like, you know, fake masking, faux masking, that's what I'm going to be calling it. So then I went ahead and glued the foam down, and then I glued the flower on top and added our sentiment. So I hope you enjoyed this month's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.